there is a better chance in the 2028 election that Franklin Roosevelt runs for a fifth term than Trump runs for a third term. That's about what the fucking odds. Yeah, right now, today, where Franklin Roosevelt, he's a better chance of winning a fifth term than Trump has a third.
James, now for one of our favorite segments, our listener questions. The hardest decision that I have to make every week, aided by the great Dan Max, is figuring out which ones not to use because they're all good. So I'm going to start off with Jim in Boise, Idaho, who asked, why hasn't the mainstream media done an investigative story about who these so-called federal agents really are? What do you think, James?
So federal agents and what that up?
I guess he's talking about the ICE agents and everything else.
Well, I think they've done some kind of stories. I think that ICE is now. I read this. I think I read that it's the largest law enforcement agency in the federal government now.
Yeah.
And I don't. But he brings up a good question. I don't know what the minimum qualifications to be an ICE agent is. I don't know if they're screened for prejudice or anything like that. Look at some of their actions, it doesn't seem like it. But yeah, I think God makes a good question. What's the process that you end up on the rooftop of an apartment building, excavating Americans out of their apartments? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, Jim, I think you're right. I'm not so much interested in identifying a particular one, but what are the qualifications? How much have they lowered standards to get in? And the one thing I really want to know, what did Tom Homan do with that $50,000 that he took from FBI agents promising to deliver Trump contracts? Where is that money?
A man like that, he probably, gave it to some retired nuns.
Yeah. We can rule that one out.
In a grocery bag.
I'm going to.
They have no sense of shame.
Yeah.
I don't think that Tom Homan is embarrassed by the fact that it's public that he took a $50,000 sack of cash.
No.
Okay. I don't think these people have a normal human reaction to shame or being humiliated. I just don't.
No, they don't. All they say is, hey, I wasn't prosecuted. Guess why I wasn't prosecuted? James, I'm going to steal a question from New Orleans. I usually leave those to you. This is John, who asked, what do you think about Amy McGrath running for the Senate again for a third time? First of all, John, she ran for the House the first time, Senate second time. This is the third time. Very few people in American politics succeed on the third go-round. I think the late William Proxmire may have, but it is really rare. I am a fan of Amy McGrath. I think she's impressive. She's a decorated combat veteran. I'm not sure she's the best candidate to put up in Kentucky in a seat that it's going to be hard to win, but not impossible.
Well, I don't know if he can win a primary because I saw him at Saratoga, but Dale Romans, who's a top tier horse trainer, who's as Kentucky as you can get, all right, is thinking about running as a Democrat, and a lot of that is going to depend on what the sitting governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, says or does. So I'm not even sure that if Amy McGrath runs, I'm not sure she can beat Dale in the primary, because Dale's got a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah,
he's got a real Kentucky story, and so she's got to think twice about it.
Yeah, I never thought she could beat McConnell, but I thought she was going to win that first race. Emily in Marshall, Texas, asked you, James, why is Trump so enamored with the tariffs? Is it because the revenue from tariffs is income without collecting taxes from those who are not paying their fair share, like his billionaire buddies?
That's a good question, Emily. And Marshall's fine town in East Texas. It's actually not very far from Shreveport, as I recall. I think that Trump gets something in his mind, and then people just tell him what he wants to hear. So they're saying, sir, you're raising revenue. You're not raising taxes on anyone. You're helping create domestic jobs. You're hurting foreign countries that are not like us. This is a win situation all the way around. I don't think someone has come in here and told him, so, well, the problem is a tariff increase is always going to be paid for by consumers, or you're going to reduce competition and the quality of goods is going to go down, or people are not going to, if you don't buy that, we don't buy their goods, they're not going to buy our goods and all of the complicated stuff. I don't think anyone tells him. And I think that what we were talking about with Congressman Paul. I don't think that he has ever heard the other side of the argument on tariffs. In his mind, it raises trillions of dollars in revenue. It creates millions of American jobs, and it's all winning. And no one has the heart or the ability to tell him what the truth is. I really believe that.
Yeah. No, I
I
do
really
too.
believe that.
He
It's,
wouldn't listen, if they did. Russ in Elizabethtown, Tennessee, asked, when Trump talks about repealing the 22nd Amendment, which would allow him to seek a third term, that would also make Barack Obama eligible for another term. In the interest of the country, would Obama run? Who would win? First of all, it's not going to happen in either case. The amendment will not be repealed. Trump has been involved in 3 presidential elections. Twice he lost the popular vote. One time he barely won the popular vote. He never ran against a good candidate. Whether it's 16, 20, 24, or hypothetically 2028, Barack Obama would have beaten him like a drum.
there is a better chance in the 2028 election that Franklin Roosevelt runs for a 5th term than Trump runs for a 3rd term. That's about what the fucking odds.
And even where he is today, Franklin Roosevelt would beat him.
Yeah, right now, today, where Franklin Roosevelt, he's a better chance of winning a 5th term than Trump has a 3rd.
Right. No, I think that's right. John, one of our favorite in Gurnee, Illinois, he's one of our favorite correspondents, says, what can Democrats change when it comes to illegal immigration if they gain control of the government again? Staying with the same policies, the Biden policies, is just going to allow the Republicans to campaign off it again and kick Democrats' butt. Good point, James.
Albert, I have to say this. Biden listened to the Democratic left wingers when he came in on this, and it was an utter disaster. Harris listened to the Democratic left wingers when she ran for president in 2019 and 2020, and it was a disaster. Don't listen to these people. They are wrong every time. Every time. And the one thing that anybody that's dealt with this issue, has looked at data, has been to focus groups, they know 2 things. People like immigrants. They just do. I'm sorry. Don't miss it. Don't think people are anti-immigrant. They're not. What they are is anti-disorder. And I can understand that. And if we can do that, you can have a much more enlightened policy. If it's orderly, people will reward you for it. That's just where it is.
Totally. And let's not forget, during the Bush administration and during the Obama administration, Democrats had the upper hand, and their policies were quite simple. A tough border, really a tough border, and a pathway to citizenship for those here, particularly for the dreamers. That was a very popular position, and that's the one that they ought to have now.
Absolutely. It's not that. And any time they come in, be nice to them and don't listen to a word they have to say.
Right.
And they never, ever win elections outside of a plus 27 Democratic district.
Yeah. James, Kristen in Ashburn, Virginia, ask a really good question. Could the silver lining of Trump's speech to the flag officers at Quantico be that they saw for themselves he's crazy and they really need to question his command? I've just heard secondhand that it really went over badly with the number of those officers as it should have been. I don't know what that means. I think there's probably a lot more unease than we're publicly aware of among flag officers. I think that I would look more for resignations than I would for anybody saying I won't obey an order, even though it's against the law or unconstitutional. But I think he's got much more problems in the military ranks, top military ranks, than is generally appreciated.
Yeah, look, let's just say you're a lieutenant general, you're a three-star general, you're in the uh, Africa Command of Southeast Asia, and you're told you have to go back to Northern Virginia. You have to go to Quantico. You got to pack everything. You got to take your command sergeant major with you. All right. They got to find you a place to stay. You have to sit in an auditorium with 799 of your other colleagues and listen to a drunk sit up and call you fat, stupid, not trained. And then you listen to your commander in chief and some meandering, nonsensical, you couldn't make it up. And then you go and you're talking to your friends. I wonder why this didn't go over very well. Yeah, I mean, and when you just pick any flag officer in the United States military and just look at it, they'll come up in Wikipedia and they'll show you at each ribbon they have a fruit salad. That's what we used to call it. I don't know what they call it anymore. But these are really accomplished, highly trained warriors. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, they go to in order to be like a general and admiral, you got to go to, you be commissioned, you go up, you get fitness reports, you got to make rank at every point, you got to go to the war colleges, you got to go to professional schools, you got to go to artillery school, you got to go to gunnery school, you got to go to leadership school. And this bitch is coming here telling you that you're fat and stupid, and you don't know your job. I, in if I'm the commander, I'm a team. If it's a campaign team or an athletic team or the team we have here at the podcast. What you want to do is we do it good. We got it, man. We can do things. Let's up tempo here. We got it. He doesn't do that. That's not even fundamental leadership. They don't go to leadership school and you walk into your battalion and you say we got the makings of being a really kick-ass battalion here. We're gonna work on our gunnery, or we're going to work on close order drill. But we got the finest NCOs, we got the finest platoon commanders. We got the finest division commander. That's the way that you lead people. You don't sit there and tell people who've devoted their lives to being in a professional soldier, a sailor, a airman, a marine, a guardsman, or whatever, anything else, that you fat and stupid and the people that you work under you are not worth a shit. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it sure is. James, our final question is from Missoula, Montana.
Ooh.
Been there, a good town. Kathy wants to know, does calling one's representative do any good, or am I wasting my time?
I don't know if it's something cathartic. Just throwing a rock in a pond and watching the concentric circles that are doing it good. No, but it's worth doing it. And at least it gives you some view that I had something to say. I told some fucky that answered the phone what happened. One of my favorite political stories is my daughter's friend at Episcopal got a job. It's kind of complicated, but she answered the phone in Liz Cheney's office during all of the stuff. And somebody needs to write a book on the person that answers the phone of congressman, record all the calls that come in.
Well, let me add, James, I think normally I would probably tell Kathy, look, there are probably better uses of your time. But right now, you've got a Republican congressman. I would call every day and say, let's open the government and extend the ACA subsidies.
Right.
They're nervous. They're nervous about that. And, he's not going to change his vote because whatever Trump tells him to do, he can't. But he can go to his caucus and say, something, my phone calls are overwhelmingly against what we're doing. So, Kathy, it is worth calling, particularly now. and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
Hey, we love these questions.
that
We
is a
will
great
get.
answer, Al. But that is a great answer, and everybody understand that. They're not gonna change their mind, but they'll say, "God damn."
Yep.
They'll talk to their colleague and say, "Man, my fucking phone is ringing off the hook here. We got to do something." Yes, great
Yeah.
answer, very
Yeah.
wise.
Well, wisdom is the equivalent of age, and men.
Gray hair,
Anyway,
hair for nothing. There was wisdom in that answer.
we love those questions. So please, if we didn't get to them this week, we didn't get to a whole bunch of them. Blame Dan Max. Don't blame me. And we'll try to get to them next week. So thank you very much.
This question's on. We say it. And, yeah, everybody on every show that has questions always like, but they are the best part. And just so our questioners know, we don't rehearse them or anything. We
No.
try to. We think the best way to treat your question is spontaneously and off the cuff. And
that's right. Dan sends them to me, and what I do is I just check off about 7. James does 4, I do 3. And I check them off. I didn't read Kathy's questions, so I checked it off. I saw what the subject matter was, but James is right. We love the questions.
A great answer.
And anyway,
so true.